Hello and welcome to another edition of the Paranormal Quartet from Mexico. I'm your host, Markus Fer, Neutzer, and here's my special guest, the medium Judith Millar, and for sure, like every time with us, the wonderful Julie Adreani. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Markus.
Our topic is today materialization and what else? Aportation. I almost forgot it. First question. Is it every time the same if we speak about a seance, or do we have differences? I mean, we have the cabinet, some people they don't use cabinets. Why is this? Who would like to answer the question? Judith?
Well, personally, I believe we all have a uniqueness within ourselves. We all work with the ability we were given, and it might vary, but we're still providing the same service and we're still working with the divine. So I understand it might be slightly different, but it's still very much providing the same comfort and the same outcome.
Julie, do you think it depends only of ourselves if we need a cabinet or not? Has it something to do with our subconscious?
I believe it's your personal preference, actually, but I do sit for seance in the cabinet the majority of the time, but I also work in the light. Okay, but I can tell you if you're a newer student and you're looking to have faster phenomena, it will happen faster in the dark. Why? Because this is where creation takes place. Ectoplasm is more active in the dark because you can work in the light and you can have levitation. I have levitation in the light of my trumpet, other things, but it does take longer for you to build up the energy. But one more important thing is it's not only up to you, it is up to your spirit team. Because you are working with a whole team on the other side. Okay?
In this moment, when you start a seance, you're like a portal. The spirit world is working through you, like through a portal. Can it be if when we don't have this environment where we almost fall asleep at nights because it is dark, it is quiet, can it be that the energy flows easily or easier than with light, where we most of the time active?
Well, sorry, Julie, go ahead.
No, you go ahead first.
Personally, I work in the light. My spirit team, as you said, Julie, they're the best teachers you can have. They will keep you right. They will guide you. So I very much, my physical has been happening actually a lot faster. Just personally for me, I know everyone is different, but the things that I do with my spirit team, I always work I meditate, and it could be in the evening or whatever, but I do work in the light. I'm intrigued by the cabinets. I think it's a fascinating way, but they have very much taught me a completely different way, but in quite a quick succession. So I agree, it's absolutely your spirit team, how much you surrender, how much you trust them, and how much you go with what they want you to do.
In physics, white light and black light includes all colors. If we speak about darkness, we speak about basically somehow about light. Is it not important if we speak about light, which color it has, or does it mean something? Do we need white light, yellow light, red light, blue light? Does it have an impact of the result of the seance?
I believe it can. I have seen mediums use blue light in the same seance. So I've seen one medium in particular go from red light and have a certain form of materialization, and then their spirit control will ask for blue light, and they're experimenting with something new, and the blue vibration of this color helps bring in a different form all during the same seance. So what people are doing nowadays, we're all breaking the mold of what is, right in just one way. There's more than one way. But I actually used to sit in the closet to connect deeper to my guides when I just was doing mental mediumship. And that's how I teach my students, because I think it's very important for you to know your own energy. It's a form of sensory deprivation. So you are so in tune with your own energy. As soon as spirit comes near, you feel it. As soon as they come 3 feet away, you feel it.
Stop, please. Let me cut in here. This is a very important point, actually. How does it feels like when a spirit is approaching? Can you describe this a feeling?
For me, my ears pop. I feel like I'm up in the mountains. So I know, I feel the pressure in my ears. I also feel tingly, the cobwebbing, but right away, it's my ears that give it away. And I know that it's very strong and they're really close.
Can you see with your inner senses maybe something? With your inner senses, with your inner eyes?
Oh, well, if I'm doing regular mediumship. If I'm in the closet or my cabinet, my eyes are closed, and usually I'm in trance. When I was first sitting in the closet to help strengthen my evidential mediumship, not so much clairvoyant for me, unless I was looking at the person face to face. But when I was sitting for my development, that's how I feel. My ears, the pressure, the air pressure changing. That's what it is.
Judith, do you have similar experiences, or is this process what Julie just explained the same? If not, how far it is different?
I am kind of the opposite. I use a blue light. My guides instructed me to use a blue light. So I take selfies with my guides. People would say to me, how do you get photographs of you? So I'm awake and I'm take selfies. They have a great sense of humor. As you know, spirit has a great sense of humor. But I very much work with the blue light. They told me my personal journey, and I understand there people use the red light, people use the blue light, but for me personally, they asked and requested that I use the blue light, and they materialize around me. I'll take photographs of them. They'll start to show on me, through me. But my spirit team have explained the way they work with me is they do not work through me, they work with me in the physical phenomena side. So I'm quite different to you, Julie, where spirit would work through you in that sense. Would that be correct?
Well, I also have many, many, many spirit selfies. So that's how I started.
Yeah.
That's how I started. So that was more, I believe, like a photoplasm, where you see spirit that looks almost transparent, like an old photograph negative.
Oh yes, I understand. Yes, the grayscale and everything else. Absolutely, I understand that.
So I want to say both. I do both ways, because if I'm going to do a full-blown old-fashioned seance, it's in the dark, and in the dark is where I have apportation. So I can get levitation, I can get materialization with light, but for more cohesive work with the apportation, with the trumpet staying levitated for a long time, answering questions for everyone, that has to be in the dark. So there's different levels of it, I want to say. And I work both ways. When I have people, when I go to do a seance, it is in the dark. There's strict protocols because that's the way I was trained with my training. And it does work. I have to say, it does work. But you can do it yourself too. You can do it in the lab, you know. But for me, it's different materialization.
Absolutely. It's there is the different ways, and we do different forms of materialization, and it's what's right for you, what each of us is guided to do with our spirit teams and how they want us to work with them. So it is fascinating with the red light, and I'm actually going to watch Michael on the 3rd, so I'm looking forward to that. But for me, very much it's blue. They're very insistent it's blue. So obviously they're taking me down a different style and a different way. As you say, we have like a thumbprint. God gave us a thumbprint. We're all kind of unique.
Let me cut in here. I would like to speak a little bit more about colors. Judith, you said you need blue light. Julie, what is your preferred light?
My preferred light is candlelight, just a very tiny tea light, but with fans, red light, because people want to see. You know, it's more exciting for the sitters if they can see.
I was referring me more to the color. So in your case, it would be yellow.
Hey, Julie.
Julie?
Do you mean for the flame? Like when I said candlelight? If I had no preference? Yeah, when I sit, I feel more comfortable with just the darkness and a little candle.
Okay, good. Nothing about colors, not important for you, the color. It's only you must feel comfortable.
Yeah, it's just the vibration. And I'm comfortable. I'm most comfortable sitting in the dark, honestly, because I've sat in the dark for my development for years and years in the closet. I just graduated to a cabinet. But when I say closet, I mean a dedicated empty closet with nothing else. No other vibration.
Do you know what pops up in my mind? That Adam Lorraine Warren had some experiences they spoke about, that someone came out of the closet. And so when you said closet, what does it mean? It is only very dark inside, but does it have a specific vibration there inside? What is different to the room? Or do you say, well, very difficult to answer?
Well, when you first go in and you first start, no, you build that vibration. The whole idea of a cabinet or a small space is to have that energy condensed. And then you close the door. Because I can tell you, I've hid things in there. Christmas time gifts. And I would ask one of my adult sons to, oh, I forgot this upstairs. Go get it. They can see the energy. They can see, they're like, oh my God, there's smoke in there, Mom. Why is it still boom, it's still condensed. The minute you go back in there and I go to sit, it's like ready to work, ready to do it, you know?
So if I understood it right, it is more to separate yourself from the world outside, that you can
Yeah.
calm down to focus on this, what is necessary to connect to the spirit world. Sometimes colors, because we interpret colors in a specific way, that's calm down, activity, energy, and can be a helper, can be helpful. Correct. So I know Julie and Judith selfies. You take photographs and they are in your background, over you, next to you, spirits.
Mhm.
And when they approach or staying behind you, do you know they are here now? Or you say, well, by chance, let's take a selfie. Or can you feel there's someone behind you because it is tickling on the skin, or you feel something, I don't know. How does it work?
But personally, can I just touch on the light? You were talking about the difference in the light first. I work and meditate just with the blue light, and when I'm spending time on my own. But when I work with spirit, I work like this, without a blue light, without any light. I just work and do my work like this. So I don't need the blue light to work with and to do my readings or to do my lives. I just do it as normal. So I just wanted to explain, I only use that for my own meditative purposes. So when I take selfies, I can very much feel my guides, as Julie was explaining. They'll place their hand on your shoulder. You can feel them very strongly with you. I know one of my guides is very protective, so they sometimes stand behind me quite a lot. So I don't take photographs all the time, but I do when we're spending time on our own. It's very much it's a very personal connection each medium has with their guides. It's very, very personal. And so personally, I know, but I always ask permission. I always say to them, can we have a selfie? Can I take a selfie? And they'll have a giggle and we would take a selfie. Again, it's even when I do the physical, I do the evidential and I do the physical together. I will always accommodate spirit. They're very, very respectful and they'll always ask. So again, I would always ask the inquirer or the client, are you comfortable? I would always ask their permission, because although their loved one might want to do it, it's not necessarily the client's wishes. So I would always ask my spirit team first.
Julie, in your case, is it the same, or you experience the situation slightly different?
Well, I know they're there. I feel them. But in my case, it is different because I'm in a few different experimental groups, and my seances, my sitters, they are encouraged. The spirit team knows we're here to teach, and they're encouraged to take photographs, short videos, and it's amazing. They have caught when I'm speaking in trance. They see the guide right there by my ear. Like almost you could see the energy going into my ear. So it's very evidential. It's not like do it, I mean, when I first sat for trance in a group, the very first sitting, I had full transfiguration and I had no idea what that even was.
Yeah.
I saw some amazing images from you, what you showed me months ago, and it was impressive, very impressive. So let me recap. We spoke about light. We spoke about you have to calm, you have to concentrate. Some people, they need dark light, some people, they don't need it. It is more or less to feel comfortable in the situation, that energy can flow. Now, If there's something missing, please stop me and say, Markus, you're a dump. You forgot all what we said.
I feel like it's it is your spirit team too, because they like to experiment. They want to teach. So, they will implement. Like, for instance, my cabinet, the fabric is deep blue. So I knew I was attracted to that color, but also my guide is in that ray. So
Yeah.
it's not only us, we're working with that team, so we have to be open to their suggestions too, because they let us know.
They also,
Okay.
because it's, as you say, Julie, as we are trying to remember, we're not so much learning, we are remembering. They haven't forgot, so they know exactly what we should be doing and how we should be progressing and the way we should be working. So I think it's learn to surrender to your team, isn't it? And just follow their guidance and their teachings.
Yeah, I feel like if we're doing this now, we've done it before, but I feel like there's so much science, there's so much we don't see that people don't know. So it is pushing
Over the
on,
boundaries, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we're still evolving and learning more, but we are capable of what we're already doing. As you said, we've done it before, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we might have done
Judith,
it 100,000 years ago,
Absolutely, yes.
Judith, you said you have to surrender to your team.
Yes.
This is, I think, maybe I'm wrong here, but I think this is the most important part. If not, nothing would ever happen. When they don't want, they don't want, you can do whatever you want, but nothing happens. Is it right or wrong?
Well, your spirit team is never going to force you. They're never going to force you against your will. We've all been given that free will to make that decision ourselves as whether we want to pursue the physical or pursue the spiritual. But I very much learned that they will not ask me to do anything that I cannot do. They've put me on the spot sometimes on my lives, and I've said, really, you want me to do this now? But I thought, okay, I completely trust them. I trust them wholeheartedly, and I know that they're guiding me very well, and I'm happy to follow what they want me to do. So when we learn to trust them, that's a big part, because you're working with spirit, you're working with those different levels, and we're working in different ways. So if you aren't trusting them, you're holding yourself back. You're limiting your own growth and your own abilities, because you are scared to take that bit further. So I fully trust and said, take me to where we're going, and I very much follow and enjoy it. So, which is what I'm doing.
Julie.
Well, yeah, I feel like everybody, we don't have more, maybe we have a few more different kind of sciences working with us in physical mediumship, but everybody has a spirit team. Everybody has many loved ones around them. It's just, I believe we all have the physical control. Maybe some have a little more ectoplasm in their bloodstream than others. But the main thing is, and I've talked to some famous mediums about this, and they've said, well, I've tried to get the trumpet up for 30 years. How are you doing it?
Because you were meant to.
Well, and it was in my soul contract.
Yes.
But if it's not in your soul contract, not that you can't change or add to that, but I think that's the big difference that people don't understand.
Absolutely.
Can you explain what you meant with soul contract?
Well, I believe that we all we have our spiritual counsels on the other side that help us learn what our our soul wants to experience in this incarnation. And the Akashic records, okay, everybody knows it as the Akasha. So that's what it is. Your soul, you come up with a list of things that you might want to experience in this lifetime. Heartache, divorce, success, children, no children. I mean,
conditions, illness, everything. Yep.
So if that's not in your soul contract, then I mean, it might not happen, no matter how hard you try. But it also takes a lot of dedication. If you're not dedicated, I meet every Tuesday night with my own home circle, no matter what, no matter whose birthday it is, no matter who's going out for drinks, no matter. You have to be dedicated.
Yep.
And your spirit team's always going to be there for you. So what most important, I feel, is soul contract. That's what I've been told.
Totally agree.
Team, spirit team. We hear it every time, spirit team, like football team. But I never heard a question, what is a spirit team? Who is building the spirit team? Past family members? People you knew from past lives? Future life? Who is it? Who would like to answer first?
I think
Julie,
we
please.
probably answer. It could be ancestors who feel they still want to be with you, or they didn't have enough time with you in the past life. We all have spirit guides that come in and out of our lives as needed, but we have a spirit team that stays with us through life. And it could be an ascended master. It could be someone from 1,000 years ago who just matches your vibration and needs to balance out some of their karma. Because when we pass, we're still working and we're still balancing.
Absolutely.
We're not done. Our work is really just beginning. And so you can really burn off a lot of bad karma by helping someone and being the spirit guide. It's a great opportunity when you get over there.
Judith, do you see it different, or do you see it in the same way what Julie said before?
I'm actually very much on the same page as Julie. I know before we came here, our spirit team, we came here on a soul contract. We came here on our own blueprint, our own path, a very specific purpose. Yes, to learn more and evolve more, but also the spirit team that we all have a spirit team. Totally agree with Julie. I know not everybody believes that, but we all have a spirit team, guides, angels. We all have abilities. It's
you
choice.
Refer to all people, not only people who are in mediumship. All.
No, everyone has a guardian angel. Everyone has all their specific, as with helpers, mentors, guides, ascended masters, animal guides, universal guides. But I also know that we come on a soul contract. Our spirit team, they're a big part of our soul community. We've had past lives with them. We have ancestral ties. Some of them we've never had ties with. Personally, I know we all will probably be the same. But we have all come here knowing that should we want, as Julie says, we've agreed how we're going to, what challenges, obstacles, sadness, happiness, illnesses, what kind of life, but also how we pass. We also, that's all being put into our contract. But as Julie said, we can go to Archangel Jeremiah, and we can review our soul contracts. But personally, I'm quite happy. I believe that we've come here for a purpose. So it's good to fulfill it and to do what we came here for. Because our spirit team is very much around us, and sometimes we have been when we transition and when we move on, as Julie said, we all still do jobs. We all still are very active, and it's very important that we try and find out and continue that purpose and learn to evolve. And by following the guidance and trusting your spirit team, you're on the right track. You're going there. It's very much, yeah.
I would love to go a little step further, and because we said our topic is aportation materialization. So let us speak about, we are in this situation that we are in contact with the spirit world, even so we are every time in contact with the spirit world, but for the reason of aportation or a direct voice phenomenon. Okay. What is happening in your case, Julie? You have your seance, you are in the cabinet, you are quiet. This moment where something is going to materialize, what's going on around you? What's going on inside you?
So at that point, I'm usually very deep into trance. Okay. So the reason being, for me, my apports come through my solar plexus. They might materialize out of my trumpet that is levitating. I've had that happen where they just out the trumpet.
Wait, I would love to go a little step back.
Okay.
Solar plexus. Can you feel something when it comes out of this space? What is here under the chest? Do you have a feeling? Can you feel it that something is moving there? Can you feel that there's an energy? Is there a color, a light? Do you have any idea? Because you said you're in trance, you're far away.
Right. But after the seance, my abdomen, my belly button in particular, might be very tender for a day or two because it feels like it's getting yanked out when the trumpet is lifted. Because what happens is the ectoplasm is released, and there's a cord of ectoplasm. And this is from my sitters. This is what the sitters report that they see. The cloud of ectoplasm might go up. They see it coming up to the top and then going down into the trumpet. Okay. And that's when it might start to rattle, and then just like that, it's up in the air. So it's connected to me. It's just not flying around. It's connected to the ectoplasm. So in this room, I have 22-foot high ceiling. And the last time I had sitters here for a seance, they said they were afraid it was going to hit the ceiling. It was going so high, and then all around the room to each one of them. All the while still being connected to me. So that was live ectoplasm. So this is why it's so important for me to be in the dark in a situation like that, because if someone was to turn on the light, that ectoplasm could snap back into the medium's body like a rubber band and cause a lot of internal damage, just like what happened to Helen Duncan when her seance was raided by the police, and she was actually convicted of witchcraft. But so she passed away a few weeks later from internal injuries that she sustained during that seance. So that's why it's very, very important for all the protocol of a seance to be followed, for the safety of the medium and for the safety of others. I actually say, if there's anybody, say like Judith, if you went to one of my seances, I would be sure to, my seance leader would say, make sure you don't go into trance. Make sure you're giving the energy, because newcomers, sometimes they don't know and they close their eyes and they're getting into it. If they are producing any ectoplasm and somebody touches them and touches their ectoplasm, they could actually get injured. So when you're dealing with ectoplasm and phenomena, it's very, very important for it to be in the dark, or very light in some cases for the mediums who work in light. So,
Makes sense. It makes it completely sense.
yes. So, I mean, I have all kinds of phenomena in the light, but not levitation like that, and not apportation. So, and I have a lot of things I can say about the apports. Why, people want to know, well, why? Are they being showy? Why would they give these multifaceted jewels? But apports aren't only jewels. They can be feathers. They can be jewelry. They can be roses. My first apport that I received was from my grandmother at 8 years old, and it was a handkerchief that she had embroidered years ago.
This you were running forward because this was an important question for me to ask, because most of the times we see images of coins.
Mhm.
What else? What is very common? Help me. Coins.
Coins, jewelry. I
Jewelry.
actually apported silver dollars that were unminted.
Okay, so
So
and little figures. This is most of the time what we see.
yes.
And this was my question: why it is every time the same? But you answered on the halfway my question. It is not every time the same. It is this what people show. What is the most extraordinary thing what materialized in your seance?
Well, I'm still new for apportation, so I've just been apporting just over a year now. My mediumship changed, to apportation. I feel like the silver coins, because they were very heavy, large, and in particular, it's why they they came. The whole seance was kind of messed up. Everything this is perfect to explain that we are not in charge. So went to the seance room at someone else's home, and my music didn't work. Okay, the music shut down. But thank God, before everything started, I said to the seance leader, I said, please go get your native drum. I like to have native artifacts in my seance room. And I knew that he had just had a Sundance at his home, like a week-long celebration and ceremony. So thank God he did that. And so the music failed, but so the sitters, he drummed and they sang beautiful Native American songs. So I was so impressed with my spirit team when Indian had Silver Dollar King with the buffalo on the other side. Those were the
How
two.
nice this experience.
So
Nice
pretty.
experience.
So that really taught me that once we go in the cabinet, we're not in charge. They have their own, they know what's going to happen. They're in charge. They're going to keep us okay, no matter what. I trust them with my life. They saved my life so many times. So
Mm-hmm.
I have total trust. And, but it's exciting. And I don't want to take up all the conversation, but I can explain a little bit about the jewels and what they can be used for whenever you're ready for it.
We go back to it. Let me only catch up now with Judith, because we want to hear what happens in her seance. Is it the same way, or do you say, well, the apportation, it's dropping from the ceiling and I hold my hand open, or is it different?
It's different for me. When I'm working, I work with my essence. Julie says you trust your guides with your life. They will always keep you safe, and they will never lie to you. They're coming from such a loving place and divine place. They will never lie. So when I'm doing it, I will work with loved ones who are coming through with my guides, and they might ask, can they deliver a feather? So they will say to me exactly where they place the feather, on Friday night, I was doing my lives, and I actually asked, there was a lady, and I said to her, you have a blanket beside, I don't know where she was in the word, but she had a blanket beside her. And she said yes. And I said, there's a feather in your blanket. They placed the feather within the blanket. And I said, they've literally just placed it there. And she lifted the blanket and it was there. But like as Julie explains, we're not in control. If it's whatever the physical gift is, they will ask me, can they help? So they might put an object in their hand. So I will know if they're going to physically turn the object, or if they're going to take it right off their hand or move it. But it's always their loved one. And I work strongly with my guides and my angels, and really strongly with my angels and the divine. So I know that they would never ask me to do something that was going to cause someone harm in that sense, as you were explaining, Julie. So I very much work where they will do physical stuff. They will move objects in their hands. They will move objects beside them. They will deliver a feather in front of them or around them at the time. I don't know what other way to call it. I call it the water tap, because I keep saying to them, I really don't know what way you want me to explain this. So they would make sure that the person who's receiving the reading has their water tap turned off so tight and completely dry. There's no leaks, nothing. So then they will start to build the water, and the water will build, but it could hang there such a long drip, but that water will not move until they have told me when to ask them to place their hand under it, and only then will that water drop. Doesn't matter how long that drip's got. So very much I'm talking to them and explaining to them what's happening as it's happening, what they're explaining to me, and what. So that's the way I would work. It's very much physical. As I talk to you, it's all physically happening, and they're seeing it in front of their own eyes, and they're feeling it. I have people like to physically reconnect with their loved ones again. A lot of people don't realise that you can have that physical reconnection with your loved one still. It's just this physical body that's gone. We're the same without it. So when I'm working with clients and with people in seances, their loved one will physically close their hand tight. They'll want something in the hand, they'll move it in the hand, and then they will physically close their hand tight. And it's a beautiful gift to receive from your loved one in spirit, because it's something that it means so much to that individual person each time.
Mm-hmm. Let me go a step further and ask, we spoke about materialization and of, now I forgot the other word, help me out of the situation, aportation. For most of the people it is the same, but there's a difference. What is the difference, Jolie?
Well, it actually is. An apport is a form of materialization. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it is. For me, there have been faceted stones, but I'm told that there's a lot of reasons. Most important reason is the frequency that comes in these stones is very healing. Very, very healing. I wear mine. I keep them in my heart space. I tell others to keep them near. You can use them for healing situations. Like, for instance, you can put down a map of the Ukraine and Russia, and you could place your stones there and do affirmations. And this really does bring healing, because thoughts are things, and so is the affirmation. And then with the power that is in the apport, you can really bring transformation. So for me, that's the most important thing. Yes, they wow people. People love to get them. They're beautiful. They're shiny. And a lot of times they're genuine stones, but it's the frequency and it's teaching people that you can transform. It's energy. Healers can see, wow, there, it went from a gas to, the clouds to like a watery substance, and then here it drops and it's a solid, and they're just beautiful. So I think it's all about teaching that we have the power to transform physical law. There's so much
Yes.
more we can see. So that's really the secret.
My almost last question, because we are running out of time, would be why they do it. Why the spirit world is giving us those gifts. Is it only to show, hey, wait a minute, your reality or your idea of reality is a very small reality. They exist more, and you never die. Or is behind there a different idea? Julie.
I feel like it's all, and they're gifts of love. They come programmed with so much love and for what you personally need. So when you're in a group and you're doing a scientific experiment, yes, you can prove that you're breaking physical law. Yes, you can prove physics, right. So it's actually both, but mostly they're given out of love. I know my very first apport was all the stitches that went into that handkerchief for my grandmother. It and all the energy that it took from her to deliver that. That was a lot. And that was without a medium, or maybe I was a medium, but I didn't know it at 8 years old. So there's so much going on behind the scenes, and there's so much energy, and only, we only see 180 degrees of what's really going on. There's just so much more, and I believe it's to teach us, but first and foremost, out of love.
Judith.
I agree
Same
with
question.
Julie. It's always out of love. We are love. We came here to build that collective of love and change things. I know it's one. They want their loved one to know that they're still very much there. They haven't gone anywhere, and they are the same as us, Marcus. Without this physical form, we are the exact same as them. But also, I also believe that Spirit, I want us to understand that there is so much more than just this school of life. This is a very short time frame that we're here for. Might feel like 60, 70, 80 years, but it's a very small time frame. And there's each lifetime, there's bigger purposes, and there's so much more. I know when I do connections, I always say to them, so what do you do now? How are you working now? And even to hear how much they're helping and what they're doing after they've transitioned. So Spirit very much, they're trying to show us also that there's so much more that has not even been touched on yet. It's not in, but also it's important that that loved one knows and gets to feel them and knows that they're still there, very much still there. And that means a lot to people. But they're trying to show us there's a lot more to come, a lot more to come.
My next question and last question, and it is for Julie. I know I see the drawings behind you, the images. Who is it?
Well, this one is one of my newest guides coming in, okay? And she's, of course, not of this earth. But she gives a lot of clues. And I love art because, like in the Renaissance stories, there's hidden messages. There's a pi sign right here. There's a celestial planet here. So they come in for different reasons. I have them all over this room, but I have my mother and my father. I have my very first guide that I remember seeing when I was 3 years old. And that's one of the first ones that got drawn for me when I went to a spirit artist. And I was just, it was a beautiful thing to realize, wow, he has drawn this. And I remember being afraid of him. The same clothes, the same hat. So
They are ascended masters. The lady on the side.
2 of them are ascended masters. I don't know if you're familiar with Sonic Kamara. He was the first ascended master that came from the universe, not human, down, and 144,000 came with him. So, and I'm sorry, 3, and Kuan Yin, because Kuan Yin is my cabinet guide. So she helps me with the trumpet.
And who is it on your, well, for me, it's your left side. No, other side. Maybe mirrored. It's mirrored.
Okay. Some Native Americans. So this is a Mongolian guide, and he is one of my protectors.
Mm-hmm.
And then, sorry. I have quite a few Native Americans. I'm trying to get it to where you could see, sorry.
It's okay like that. We saw it quite well before.
Yeah, and he is actually Michael's daughter, Rosie, drew this one, the second one up. And he was called a river. He's actually Lakota Indian. And his name was Wankatonka, something that meant river. So, I'm sorry, there's 4 because there she is up there. Lady Rasha is all the way up on top, and she is Master Odysseus, like twin flame. Okay. So there's White Cloud there, and then Wankatonka. I don't have a name for him. I just call him my guy. I don't know his name, but Rasha is up on top. So actually 4. So that's probably why I was so aligned and training with Michael and working with Michael, because he works with the ascended masters as well. So.
Can you see, I'm a very curious person. That's the reason why I was asking you. That's the reason why I'm more than 40 years in this area. Maybe I shouldn't be so curious. Well,
yes, George.
I have to say thank you for your time. I think we were speaking about very important things. Many people were eager to know. Now they know it. And it was very interesting to listen to your explanations. You are both fantastic mediums, but working slightly different, and there's nothing wrong on it. This is completely normal. And yes, to make a long story short, I want to say thank you for your time and to be here in the Paranormal Quartet. And I hope I see you soon in the next one. Have a great time and
thank you for having me.
Thank you. Yes, it's been a lovely chatting. Yes, thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.